West Valley City says that construction projects like this one should benefit the community, but in the meantime, it means lots of traffic.
Well, the issue began with unclear language referring to all retail stores. Now, many shop owners feel they've been led astray.
Pues esta semana BYU Televisión Internacional celebró su primer aniversario y los empleados del canal tuvieron mucho por qué celebrar. Pues así es, Leandro. Y aparte del fútbol, la primavera ha llegado a Provo y hay que ver el béisbol. BYU está en proceso de hacer una nueva tribuna para los equipos de fútbol y rugby. Es interesante ver a un fabricante de chocolate como Hershey's apoyando a la buena salud. Y eso es la Semana en Deportes.
Provo City could eliminate the crosswalk, which would reduce the danger, but it would mean more time for students walking to school. Mark Hamilton, BYU Daily News, Provo.
But we continue our team coverage now with a closer look at the construction and how it will affect local businesses.
Our reporter Mark Hamilton visited West Valley City and talked to residents about the changes coming to their town.
Well, Emily, the construction on 3500 South is meant to help the city, but right now, business owners say it's just causing more problems. The sound of breaking glass and twisting metal fill the air as West Valley businesses prepare for progress. This section of 3500 South in West Valley City is being expanded between Bangerter Highway and I-215. But many stores and businesses lie in the path of the planned expansion and will have to be torn down.
I just think with the economy the way it is, it's such a waste of money. I don't feel that what they're doing is anything that's going to improve the flow of traffic.
Many businesses are already gone. Where buildings once stood, only dirt and foundations remain. The growing list of buildings that have disappeared include an audio shop, Toro lawnmower dealer, and an old Winchell's Donuts.
Yeah, there's several businesses that have closed up and moved out of this because of having to tear the buildings down.
West Valley City says that construction projects like this one should benefit the community, but in the meantime, it means lots of traffic. And for store owners, more traffic doesn't always equal more business.
People don't want to fight this traffic just to get in to get whatever is along here. They'll go elsewhere.
Regardless of the effect it's having on these businesses, Governor Huntsman is optimistic that this and other construction projects around the state will provide people with jobs now and improve Utah's infrastructure and economy in the long run. This particular project is expected to be finished in the fall of 2010, but for now, the traffic, dust, and construction will continue.
Coming up next on the Daily News at noon, with just over 24 hours till the big BYU-Utah matchup, we have live team coverage of the events leading up to the game.
We'll show you how much tickets are selling for and if you can still get some.
And the rivalry between the schools isn't just limited to football. We'll show you a BYU-Utah food fight 13 years in the making.
And it's not just students that are getting involved in the rivalry. We'll show you what the city councils of Salt Lake and Provo are doing to support their teams.
Plus, Alex Osborne will have your weekend forecast for the rivalry big game.
BYU Daily News starts now.
From Brigham Young University's Department of Communications, this is your Daily News at noon. Honored by the Broadcast Education Association for Best Newscast. It's tomorrow's journalist today.
Welcome to BYU's Daily News. I'm Daniel Woodruff.
And I'm Jeanette LaFront. It's college football rivalry week, and you don't have to look too far to find one of the best rivalries in the country.
The BYU versus Utah game, also known as the Holy War among some, is always a fierce battle, but this year's stakes are even higher.
Daily News reporter Mallory Minster joins us now to preview tomorrow's big game.
Well, this Holy War keeps fans at the edge of their seat almost every year, but this year is no different. And with more than just pride on the line, this year's matchup will be no different. Undefeated this season, the Utes have the chance to take the Mountain West Conference title and get a BCS Bowl bid. The Cougars will have to fight to claim a piece of the conference title and continue this fierce rivalry. And since 1965, BYU has pretty much dominated the contest, beating the Utes 28 out of the last 42 meetings. And probably one of the most memorable is right here, the unanswered prayer. And then also we have this 4th and 18 that last year, and this will probably also stay in the memory of fans' minds for many years to come. And Utah is currently 7th and BYU is currently 14th. So The Utes have a lot at stake for this game. They have a BCS Bowl, they have a championship, and an unbeaten record. So BYU will have to play their top game to be able to knock the Utes off.
Now, so if BYU wins tomorrow, who's Mountain West Conference champion?
It will actually be a tie between BYU, TCU, and the U.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to, have to fight hard to be able to do that.
Right. Should make it a very interesting game. Well, we look forward to hearing more about you later on in sports.
Thanks, Mallory. Well, with just one day until the Cougars and Utes take the field in the Deseret First Duel, many fans are scrambling like crazy to find tickets to the big game.
Daily News reporter Robbie Below joins us live to tell us how much you can expect to pay for last-minute tickets.
Well, for Saturday's big game, tickets sold out back in August before the football season even started. To buy a ticket from the University of Utah ticket office back then would have set you back $25 to $40, but to buy a ticket now requires a much larger investment. Go to the Utah and BYU ticket office websites and you've seen the same message for months. Tickets to the Holy War are sold out. But you can still find tickets from those selling them if you are willing to pay the price. So if I told you I had 2 tickets in my pocket, how much would you pay me for tickets?
Well, I'm a tightwad. I only pay $50, if that.
I'd pay $100.
Okay, I don't, but hypothetically, if I had tickets, how much would you be willing to pay for tickets to the BYU-Utah game on Saturday?
If they were within the first 15 or 20 rows, I'd pay $100 each.
That kind of offer may not cut it. A seller on KSL's Classifieds is advertising that their $150 ticket is one of the better prices. Others are selling groups of tickets for thousands of dollars. Craigslist and eBay have hundreds of tickets ranging from $51 to $5,000. Others are proposing trades for the coveted tickets. This person is willing to part with their LeBron James autographed basketball, and another is offering their services with a free wedding day photography package.
Probably my trooper. I don't have any cash, but maybe my car.
Should the Cougars upset the Utes' bid for a BCS berth on Saturday, he would have a long walk home to celebrate. With a capacity of over 45,000, Rice-Eccles Stadium should be filled with emotional fans tomorrow, especially with a conference championship on the line.
So, Robbie, is there any good news for those of us who can't get tickets?
Well, if you can't make the financial commitment to go to the game, you can watch it on the mountain for the first time in high definition.
Best seat in the house. Thanks, Robbie. Well, for those who have a ticket to the game tomorrow, the next obstacle is finding a parking spot. The Utah Transit Authority suggests those going to the game take public transit. They plan to operate 3 additional TRAX vehicles, as well as 1 extra front runner from Ogden to accommodate the crowds. Now, 4 light rail trains will leave the Sandy Civic Center station at 2:40, 2:55, 3:10, and 3:25, making stops all the way up to the stadium. For more information, check out that website on your screen, rideuta.com. And the BYU-Utah football game has not brought any vandalism reports this year, and the police hope it will stay that way. The statues on BYU are covered in saran wrap to prevent any vandalism. BYU Police Lieutenant Arnold Lemon says they've escaped vandalism ever since BYU prosecuted the U of U's baseball team for damaging the Y several years ago.
We've had no reported incidents this year. In fact, it's been a few years since we've had any vandalism related to the U of U BYU game.
Lemon says they are prepared to deal with any problems that may arise from this weekend's game.
Which school will donate the most?
Daily News reporter Jared Bray joins us live with an update. Jared?
In the 12-year history of the food fight, BYU has always donated more food, but they've never given more cash than Utah. This year, they think they have what it takes for a clean sweep.
Filling up bins is one of the more friendly rivalries between BYU and Utah, but this year's competition is heating up.
Oh, we want to beat BYU bad in everything, in football, basketball, the food drive, you name it.
To combat the Utes, the Student Alumni Association hopes to trigger Cougars into action by scattering more bins around campus and displaying canned food sculptures, a few with religious themes and some just good, clean fun.
It's definitely grabbing attention. I've seen tons of people stop by and just look, and that was the whole point. If we get people to stop and look and see something that's different, and then notice the sculptures or notice the posters that say donate, then we've reached our objective.
Currently, BYU has donated 25,000 pounds of food. As for the cash, Joseph Nance says the school's already beat last year's numbers.
The bookstore's really doing a great job. The student employees there at the bookstore, the cashiers there, they're doing a really good job of pushing the Y marks and asking every single employee to buy one of those, or every customer to buy those for $1.
And for all those students who haven't yet donated,
step up, ask them if they want to buy a Y mark. It's not that hard.
Now, for those of you who haven't donated yet, you still have time. It's for a good cause, and the Utah Food Bank could really use your help.
Jared, how much food does the bank actually need?
Well, I'm told there's a 43% increase in people needing food this year, which means they have an extra 300 people coming in and looking for a meal. Back to you guys.
Well, hopefully they'll be able to reach their goals and help those people out. Thanks, Jared. With the excitement building for tomorrow's game, there are a few things on campus students can participate in to get ready for the big game. Right now in the terrace, there's our students showing off their school spirit by dressing in as much blue and white as possible to win gift certificates. At 7 tonight, you can either head to the Joseph Smith Building Auditorium to watch 12 men compete for the title of Mr. BYU, or you can head to the Smith Field House to compete in the BYUSA's Human Foosball Tournament.
When the Cougars and Utes take the field tomorrow, you can bet Provo and Salt Lake Council members will be holding their breath.
Daily News reporter Spencer Blake explains what's at stake for the two cities.
While loyalties divide the state this weekend, Provo and Salt Lake City councils are making their own little wager over the BYU-Utah game.
Salt Lake Councilman Carlton Christensen placed the bet with Provo. What's at stake? The losing city's council will have to visit the other city council chamber and sing their rival's fight song.
This was an opportunity for council to go against council and think of what would be a great reward and a painful penalty.
We got a call, our office got a call from their office. They gave us the challenge and we responded with enthusiasm.
The council members from both cities are excited to see their teams compete and have even put up decorations in the city offices. Neither side seemed too worried about their team's performance on the field.
It's an easy bet. Who's got anything to wager here?
I just doubt that a third year in a row that the Y could pull something out on the last play of the game.
The two councils have friendly relations with each other normally, and members say the rivalry is a healthy one.
Okay, who's going to win on Saturday?
Oh, unquestionably Utah will.
Oh, absolutely the Cougars. Hands down.
The U is going to win, there's no doubt.
BYU! Go BYU! Yeah!
Salt Lake City Mayor Ralph Becker and Provo Mayor Louis Billings have a similar wager going on. The loser has to bike the 45 miles to the other city and make a donation to the Utah Food Bank.
And as both cities root for their home team, they aren't the only ones cheering. Here are BYU's cheerleaders practicing this morning for tomorrow's big game. The cheerleaders put in a lot of work for every game, but with BYU-Utah this week, they are putting in even more hours. Although they can't make the team win, they're doing everything they can to help.
Coming up after the break, we'll show you what steps Provo City officials are taking to curb gang activity.
We'll take you to a crisis center for children in Utah and show you why the center is the one in need of help now.
And in sports, we'll look back at classic moments in the BYU-Utah rivalry. Stay with us.
In a generally safe city like Provo, not too much attention goes into gang activity. Though its numbers are not as high as other cities in Utah, gang activity among youth in Provo is starting to get noticed.
Daily News reporter Erica Bailey shows us how the creators of Officer Friendly, the DARE program, and Neighborhood Watch are teaming up to create a safer community.
The new Provo City Gang Project is in progress as of last night. Several community members and city officials are meeting to discuss a project that will help stop violence and allow those in gangs to find a safer way out.
The gang activity has just increased over the last 2 years even, till it seems like, and this is anecdotally just from looking at my calendar day in and day out, that probably about 60 or 70% of the delinquent kids that I see are gang related.
This is Judge Lindsay's 17th year working in the juvenile court. Because of this, she says she can see the negative change in the youth and that they need help. Tabim Line, the CEO for the Utah Council with Crime Prevention, says educating our community will be our base for decreasing gang activity.
We have to educate the children. We have to help them understand the issue. We have to work with the parents so that there's not denial. We also have to embrace the knowledge and expertise of the political leaders and get them very much involved in the process. And I think they're doing that here. They brought everybody together.
However, the Provo City Gang Project will not be easy to create. This group hopes to mimic previous plans from West Valley's Project 180. The council is tracking the gangs by the amount of graffiti in certain areas, working with juveniles who are already involved in gangs, and surveying the community.
It assesses those kinds of things. How connected are they to their communities, to their teachers, to their parents? Do they feel like they have support from adults? Do they feel like they have good role models in the community?
This is a great example of a community coming together.
Previously, some similar plans experienced a 90% success rate. The implementation of this project is predicted to start in January 2009.
Thanks, Erica. A Logan man is sentenced to life in prison without parole for a crime he committed 21 years ago. 51-year-old Glenn Howard Griffin was convicted of first-degree murder in the death of Bradley Newell Perry. Blood left on a dollar bill that Griffin gave as change to someone just after the killing linked him to the murder. Perry was brutally murdered in 1984. You won't see as many orange barrels on the road next summer, and that is not necessarily good news. As the economy slows, there's less money in Utah's general fund, and now UDOT announces they're postponing $3 billion of road work, including projects like rebuilding I-15 in Utah County, building a new freeway on Salt Lake County's west side, and widening Highway 92 in Alpine. UDOT says they plan to finish the projects they've already started.
Have you ever had an emergency and needed a babysitter in a hurry? That's exactly what crisis nurseries across Utah provide for local families. Unfortunately, they are having a crisis of their own and are in need of funding from the state. Daily News reporter Alyssa Thomas takes us inside Midvale's crisis nursery to show us where the money will be spent.
Jamie Grover works at the Midvale Crisis Nursery as a house mother, where she cares for children whose own parents are unable to.
I love seeing all the little different kids. We get to see lots of different ones. It's never the same thing coming here.
Parents can leave their children at the nursery for up to 72 hours, where they are fed, bathed, and taken care of until their parents return. Executive Director Bonnie Peters says the nursery does its best to make sure the children feel secure and protected.
Though we may only have them for 2 hours or 3 hours or 3 days, that time that they spent with us is going to be a positive experience.
Because crisis nurseries are increasing in popularity, many believe that this money from the state is crucial to their continued success. The use of crisis nurseries has increased about 80% since 2004, and Peters believes there are 3 main causes for the increase.
The state of the economy, the state of stressors in life, and then also, as I say, that people know about us more.
In order to continue to provide services, Peters says they will need more volunteers and between $500,000 and $700,000 from the state. She says they need the money to hire additional workers so the nursery can take on more children and fulfill the crisis nursery's ultimate goals.
We want to protect the children, but also to strengthen the family.
Alyssa Thomas, Daily News, Midvale.
Last year, crisis nurseries across the state had to turn away more than 1,400 children. But nursery officials hope with this new funding will prevent having to turn away children this year.
Coming up in sports, we'll explore the reason behind the rivalry.
And students in Georgia collect crayons for more than just coloring.
And BYU takes on U tomorrow. We'll show you what Mother Nature has in store for the game. The Daily News forecast is up next.
Well, Alex, what's on tap for tomorrow's big game?
Well, good news. We got some great weather ahead. Looking outside right now, it is just gorgeous. We got a blue sky, just a few light fluffy clouds floating through there, and some beautiful fall foliage that we're seeing as well. Right now in Provo, we've got great weather. It looks like it is 50 degrees outside, heating up just a bit. Humidity at 71 and just a slight wind speed out there. Just a couple of clouds, nothing that is going to be too big of a problem for the game tomorrow. Looking at that game right now, we got the big game forecast. Kickoff 4 o'clock. It's going to be about 50 degrees outside, 46 at the halftime, and lowering down into the low 40s around the fourth quarter. So we're looking at great weather, few clouds in the sky. Bring a jacket, no umbrella. Thumbs up for that game. Our national story is going to be a bit different. Looks like in the northwest, we have just a big storm that's going to be blowing through across all the way into the Midwest, bringing heavy snow into the higher elevations in Seattle, in Washington, with a little bit of snow rain mix in Seattle and lower elevation. On into the Midwest, we'll see some snow in the higher states. Down in the south, though, it's going to stay A little bit warmer than in the north and no precipitation. On into the east coast, we are going to just see what's called a lake effect storm around the Great Lakes. A lot of heavy snow is possible up here in the Great Lakes, and that will trickle off into the northern Atlantic coast. Some snow rain mix in New York and along the Atlantic coast. However, down in the Carolinas, Florida area, they're going to be dry. So, forecast for the nation, wet up top, dry down below. In Utah, it is a nice story we've got going. Great weather for this time of year, autumn. We have 46 in Logan, 53 in Salt Lake. The high today here in Provo is 52, and St. George is always nice, topping out at 70 degrees. St. George and other southern Utah cities will have a great week coming up ahead. They have got sun, and more sun as usual. Highs in the high 60s, low 70s, lows in the 40s as usual. Here in the Wasatch Front, we are also looking fairly decent. We have a mostly sunny today. Tomorrow for the game, like I said, partly cloudy in the low 50s. And then on into Tuesday of next week, we may have a warm before the storm, possible rain Tuesday night and on into Wednesday. So if you're planning on traveling for Thanksgiving, you might want to leave a bit early, maybe Tuesday night, because Wednesday we'll probably see some rain.
All right.
Great,
thanks Alex. Appreciate it.
Well, speaking of good weather, let's hear what sports is going to happen this weekend.
Next on sports, what else would we talk about but the BYU-Utah game? We have one of the fiercest rivalries in the country right in our own backyard. We'll take a look at the history of this holy war and hear what both Cougar and Ute fans have to say about the big game. The question is, do you bleed red or blue? The long-awaited rivalry game between the Cougars and Utes is finally here, and fans could not be more excited. Daily News reporter Kevin Schaefer joins us live to tell us what fans from both schools are saying about the matchup and who they predict will win.
Fans for both teams are very excited for tomorrow, but seemed a little bit nervous about the outcome of the big game.
Only once in the last 11 years has the margin of victory in the BYU-Utah rivalry been more than a touchdown. That fact is leaving fans expecting another dogfight tomorrow.
Behind him. They have to go to the end zone. Final play of the game, barring a penalty, all the time in the world for Beck. Can anybody get open for him? He'll roll right, lets it go, finds this guy, touchdown!
I honestly think that we're going to win. It'll probably be pretty close. I think it'll be less than a touchdown.
The Cougars have controlled the rivalry in recent years, winning on last-minute touchdowns in 2006 and 2007. But this year, the Utes are looking for revenge.
Watches it, he's got Coley waiting on it, catches it across the 40-yard line! All by himself behind Bryce McCain!
I'm pretty excited. Been a little disappointed the last couple of years, but I think the Utes have the upper hand this year.
My whole year depends on it. I'll just be upset and depressed all year if we lose.
And with the conference championship and a potential BCS berth on the line, there will be no love lost between the Utes and the Cougars tomorrow.
To be completely honest, I hate them. Even just seeing the logo makes me a little angry sometimes.
And I just feel like you're way classier and more sophisticated if you're a Cougar.
The game kicks off tomorrow at 4 p.m. and will be broadcast on the mountain. Back to you.
So if tomorrow's game's anything like the previous years, it should be pretty exciting.
Can't wait.
Excited. Go Cougs.
Thanks, Mallory. Well, coming up next on the Daily News, how a Georgia school sets a colorful new record. Well, finally, back to school shopping had some parents in Georgia frantically searching for one particular item.
Students at Lyman Hall Elementary School in Hinesville, Georgia, donated crayons to set the Guinness record for the world's largest crayon.
More than 100,000 crayons were collected over the past 6 months to build the one big crayon that stands, get this, 9 feet 6 inches tall and weighs more than 600 pounds. The crayons were melted and poured into a PVC pipe, and they made the tip using a traffic cone. This crayon will appear in the Hinesville Christmas Parade next month.
Well, isn't that something?
Huge.
That's a lot of fun.
Well, that's your daily news for today, November 21st.
For updates around the clock, check us out online at dailynews.byu.edu.
We'll be back a week from Monday.
Have a great Thanksgiving break.